this. Now, I know this is going to be a little long-winded, but just hang with me because we'll get to putting this on and everything, and I'll show you exactly how to do it, one piece by piece by piece. But the reason for this is that I couldn't get that column shifter nice and really tight inside. That column was really, really little sloppy, and Christina didn't feel comfortable. So we decided to go with this. It was on sale. There'll be a link down below for it, but this will give her you have to pull the trigger to pull it out of park to get it into drive. And once it's in drive, it's locked in. You got to pull the trigger, get up to put it in reverse and put it into park. So there's no way for her to mistakenly shift into neutral. This was her idea. You know, turnkey, you know, putting gear. So we're going to put this in and I'm going to show you how. So let's get to it. Selectors for Miss Christina, so she can see it nice and clear. We have a shifter cable, yay. And we have our shifter itself. Basic, standard, yeah, stamp steel, but it's good enough for what we're going to use. Oh, I like that. Little protector for the threads. Well, it's nice texture, nice and thick, because back in the old days, these would be like paper thin and they were really shitty, but this is nice and thick. Wow. That's a 1/4 inch thick, plastic. That's nice. I like that already.
Okay, now the first thing you need to do is you need to put it where you want it, where it feels comfortable, and you've got to, if you run a bench seat, you got to get it moved all the way up in front as far as it'll go, so you know you don't have any interference. If you have buckets, you can do whatever you want with it, but with a bench, get it up far. Use a paint marker in the holes, mark them on the floorboard after you're happy where it's at. Gives you a reference point, and then these are the 4 holes that we're gonna drill the holes in.
All right, so I used the paint marker. I put it on the floor. I used the paint marker, scribed the holes, center punched it, drilled it to 3/8 holes. Those are 5/16 bolts. They come with the kit. They come with spacers. Now I want to talk about this. This is a bolt right here. Now that is the bolt you put in place to change this from a 4-speed to a 3-speed. So these are come unisex. So you can do it any older car, Dodge, Ford, Chevy, whatever it is. But they come, everybody likes overdrive transmissions, 3s and 4s, but this is designed for a 3 or 4-speed automatic. Now how you keep it turned into a 3-speed without grabbing an extra gear is it just comes with this little Allen head bolt right here that you put in place, and it keeps it from ratcheting into the last gear. So you have, then it turns this into 1st, 2nd, and 3rd gear here, and then neutral. So very important, put that piece in or you'd be grabbing a gear that isn't even there. Down, we're going to call the wife out here, have her get a wrench and hold these in place while I tighten them, put the nuts and washers on the back side and tighten this down. And then we got to drill a hole for the cable itself in the floorboard. And it says it's a 1-inch hole, 3 3/4 inch from this surface right here. Okay, we got it mounted. She's solid, and it says to cut a hole 3 3/4 inch past the upper mount hole. All right. So I've always found doing many of these back in the day, the easiest thing to do is just take something long and straight, which I sometimes use one of these, and I just kind of eyeball it with the line of the actual, because back here in the back, right about right here, is the stud for the cable itself. So I'm just kind of eyeballing where that hole should go. So we're going to mark it right about right here, and you want it basically right in line, straight through. And that ends up being about 3.5 inches from the front of that piece. Now see, this is what I'm talking about. This is where it connects, and this is where it bolts up. So you want a nice, because it's going to pocket right in that pocket. You want that hole just nice lined up. See if I can get you a shot here. See, here to here to here. I can't get it to focus. Okay, but So that's what we're looking for, a straight shot. So there's our hole, right in the floorboard. And it says cut a 1-inch hole, which I don't understand, 1-inch hole, but we'll drill a hole, then we'll put a step drill in there and open it up and get enough room, and then we'll get a grommet and we'll put it in there. Okay, I understand the 1-inch hole. It's to get that to pass through it, to put the cable on, and put the cable through the floorboard, because the other end has this contraption on it, and it's wider than 1 inch. So lesser of two evils, inch hole in the floorboard. I get it now. Okay, I don't know if I've showed you guys this trick before, but this is my 1-inch depth right there on my step drill. And so to keep from going any farther than what you want to go, you just put a piece of tape as like a guide, tell you when to stop. All right, and I did look in my bunch, and I got a 1-inch. It's a solid one. So basically, I can cut a slit in that with a razor and put that right around that cable, because that cable in the cab isn't going to move. Okay, so you can basically cut this, put that in the hole, and that'll be a nice seal in the floorboard. I'm telling you what, that grommet kit from Harbor Freight, really nice. I mean, it's got all kinds of stuff in it. Itty bitties and nice and bigs. I mean, and I've used the hell out of this stuff, and it really works good. Now, I don't know if you guys care about seeing the step drill work or not, but here we go. All right, now remember, you guys are drilling above the transmission, so you want to make sure you have enough space so you're not drilling in the case of that transmission. So that's how much depth I have before I hit that transmission, and that's pretty freaking close. So we might go to the second step 7/8 and see if it'll fit. All right, I'm stopping there. I haven't hit the case or anything, but that still makes me a little nervous. So, okay, let's see if we can get the end to fit through. Okay, let's see what we got. Well, I can get the nut through. Okay, that's. As a matter of fact, we're gonna leave it like that, and we're gonna put it through the hole. Okay. Now this part. Yep. All right. Now we're gonna have to get underneath and wrap it around the transmission, zip tie pieces, and get it kind of where we want it. All right. And then we can continue up here. And I'll back this off so you guys can see. But the cable is through the hole in the back, and she's coming around the back side of the transmission on the bottom, and then she's going to hang out right here for time being, because we have to put the bracket and stuff here on the transmission and change the shifter bracket on the side of the transmission itself. And then it's just a matter of adjusting it. So this is the hardest part to do, is the stuff underneath, and just get it routed right. Now, once we get everything in place, we'll play with a little bit, and I'll zip tie a little bit here. I'm taking a big zip tie and get up here, and just keep it away from moving parts, keep it away from the headers and the exhaust tubes, and just to keep it a nice life. See, and it'll run about right like this. The biggest enemy of these cables is heat. Getting up against an exhaust manifold or a header and burning through, and then your cable is not working. So, all right, so back up top, we're going to bolt the cable in place and hook that part up, and then we're going to come back down here on the bottom, and we're going to put the plates on for the brackets. Okay, the next thing is going to be the transmission, and it's going to be these two bolts right here, and it comes, this kit comes with the spacers to get it up past the pan rail, and the two new longer bolts you needed for it. And then the bracket itself goes right here like this on it. Get that in focus. I can't get, okay, the bracket goes on right here between the two bolts like this, And then there's there right there, you can see this shifter selector, and we're going to put that all the way back into first gear for this, and then we'll take that bolt out and put the bracket that's supplied with that for this, and then the cable goes in this end, and since we'll ratchet all the way back to first gear, and this in first gear, and then we'll set the settings on the cable itself, and I'll set up and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now this is what it should look like whenever you got the brackets on. The two bolts are bolted here. This is your bottom bracket with the tange down, the hole down, and here is your new selector. And now it's kind of backwards from being on top. Now it kind of looks like it should. That's all the way back into first gear, and that's second gear, and that's third gear. So we're pushing all the way back. This is first gear, okay? That's what instructions say, first gear. And then we're going to take the cable. We're going to pull the rubber mounts off this thing because she's got some bits and pieces. This little screw right here got to come off the end, all right? And this rubber gasket's rubber grommet's got to come off, and this one's got to come off. And then we're going to thread this through the hole, just like this. And then we're going to take these and put these back on lock washer and nut. All right. And we're just going to spin these up. Just to get her in place. All right. Really. So what you want to check, see, this is going to have a little bit of movement because you can see. So you kind of where you want to start. Now, the thing is, we're going to put the rubbers back on the shafts because that kind of protects them from road dirt and all that kind of good biz. Just like this. There we go. All right. Now, trick to this is this little piece right here. This is the part that threads in on here. And it kind of works like this. You just kind of got to work it. There's threads inside the hole, and you got to work it on like this, all right? And because it wouldn't be very strong if it wasn't threaded. See, and this is fine threads on the end. And you're shooting for the center hole of this plate. There's 3 holes, 3 different types, Ford, Chevy, Dodge. So you're going for the center hole in the back side of the bracket, and you're just threading this. Because what the deal is we're in first gear here. We're in first gear in the shifter up top, and we're just trying to get this piece to fit in the second hole right here. And you just thread it till it fits. Till it pops in that hole. Not quite. There we go. Boom. That's your setting. Okay, now that little bitty screw that was on the end of it, that's where this comes into play. We're going to put that back on as a stop, just as a backup, okay? Just like that. And then we have a cotter pin that goes back in the back. And there's a hole for the cotter pin, and it runs diagonally. It runs horizontally. I mean, if you're sitting underneath here, I'm looking at it backwards, but you basically just in there, and we'll take our needle nose and we'll give it some love taps. All right, now the trick to this, now we got this in, there's still a little bit of deal, so we're going to tighten this down on both sides, lock it in place, and then we got to check it. Got to get mommy out here one more time. And we got to check it and make sure that it ratchets through gears. and kind of try to teach her how to use a ratchet shifter. But I'll give you another shot of this from a different angle. This is what it should look like when you're done. Okay, brackets in. She's in the second hole for Chevrolet. And then the cable is wrapped around the backside, and we're going to have to play with that to get that right. But now we need to get Mama here to make sure we're going through the gears. Well, that's all there is to it. Now, the inlay, they come with two inlays, four speed or 3-speed. And you just basically follow in. It's just a 3M, just peel and stick. Now, you do have to take this piece off to get the cover on. And it's just, there's just a cotter pin inside. You just lift this cover up to the top here, and you go in from the front, and you just put the cotter pin back in, and then you bolt it down. It's got two screws here and one screw here, and she works like a charm. And I already went for a test drive, and she works great. So any other questions, you can comment down below, ask me questions, but the instructions are pretty straightforward. And it's a real nice little shifter, nice and tight. Feels good. Boom, 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 boom into every gear. It works great. So if you're still here, like, share, and subscribe. Smash that button, hit that bell, tell your friends. Comment down below if you got any questions. Y'all have a good day.